Bowhunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, New Archery Products, Tinks, Carbon Express, Stealth Cam, Moose Utility Division, Lacrosse Footwear, Scent Blocker, Pine Ridge Archery, and Can Cooker.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. Todd Graff, alongside of me is Justin Czar. And before we get dove into this week's episode, we want to talk to you about a little bit more of what bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die has to offer. You know, a lot of times some of our first-time visitors, Justin, come in through the show and they don't know about all the other things that we have to offer.
Right. Well, obviously the first thing we want to, point out is bowhunting.com. Bowhunt or Die as a show is now available through all sorts of different means, whether it's YouTube, Roku, our iTunes podcast. So there's a lot of guys that come in, they watch the show, and they never really get to bowhunting.com to realize what a big site it is and how much we have to offer.
Right.
We've got a team of writers that are constantly writing new articles, blogs, how-to information, everything that you could possibly need to know about bow hunting and archery. Todd, we have an extremely active forum.
Yeah,
we've got a couple thousand members on there, and those guys are on there. They're posting all the time. Whether it's trail camera pictures or asking questions about how to create a mock scrape or learning how to become a better hunter, just chit-chatting about bow hunting. At any given time you can go on the forum.
And not to interrupt you, Justin, but something to talk about is a lot of times what we see when we kind of sit on the back end is we see a lot of lurkers. The people who ultimately don't take the time to create an account and add anything. But I'll tell you what, don't be a lurker. Get in there, get an account. You're going to meet a lot of friends, and that's the cool thing that the internet can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So bowhunting.com, if obviously you guys are watching the show, you're into bow hunting.
Right.
If you're watching this anywhere else, you got to be sure to check out bowhunting.com. A lot of great stuff on there. The next thing we want to talk about real quick is just our Roku channel.
Sure.
For those of you guys who don't know what Roku is or don't have one, it's a small streaming media player. You can buy them at Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon.com.
Cheap too, cheap.
Yeah, they're under $100. You literally plug it into your TV, connect it to your Wi-Fi network at your house, and you can stream episodes of Bowhunt or Die right on your TV. All you got to do is do a search for the bowhunting.com channel, add that channel to your Roku, which is completely free, and you can watch all of our episodes from season 1 through the current episode totally for free on your TV. Now,
take it one step further. You know what? Maybe you don't want to spend that much time on our website, but maybe you're a Facebook guy. You know what? We've got a great Facebook page. Definitely make sure you go there and like us on Facebook. Justin mentioned YouTube. A lot of people just really enjoy YouTube. We got a really active YouTube channel, so make sure you communicate us with on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and the last thing we want to talk about, I guess, is Twitter. Any of you guys that are on Twitter, make sure you check us out. We got about 12,000 followers on there now. So our Twitter handle is @bowhunting1. Check it out. We've got a lot of cool stuff that we post on there, whether it's photos, updates from the team, what guys are doing when they're out in the field. So there's a variety of different ways to enjoy everything that bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die has to offer. So you got to make sure you check all of them out. There's something for everybody.
Well, with that being said, this week's episode, we're going to dive in and meeting one of our pro staff guys, Dan Richardson. In the next couple of weeks, what you're going to begin to see is we're going to start introducing you to our team and their hit list bucks, maybe a little bit about what they've been doing in the summer to try to increase their odds this fall. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and join Dan Richardson on a bow fishing trip.
All right, here we go, bow fishing action. Me and my oldest son, Dalton, we're gonna go out and try to kill some rough-fish this morning. We're headed to Gibson County, Indiana, and what it is, it's a really big ditch that kind of goes into the Patoka River, and we're gonna be hunting along the ditch and probably the mouth of that ditch where it goes into the river. So anyway, let's go try to kill some fish, and hopefully we have some luck. There we go, first fish. Wow, shot him right through the jaw. I've never seen that happen before. Dalton shot, hit a carp right in the back. The arrow did a cartwheel. The carp's out here swimming around with a hole in it. You got it. You got it. I just hit the fish that Dalton did a while ago. This thing was out there wounded. I've never seen anything like it. His arrow hit it and then bounced off of it. It's a nice fish. That's a good old beefy fish. There's where Dalton hit it a while ago. I guess he hit the spine. His arrow hit and then cartwheeled. And we seen this thing swimming, kind of pumping blood out. Kind of thought it was gone, then I seen it on the opposite bank moving around. And I took a very long shot with my bow, and I got lucky and nailed him. Bow hunter die. Wow. Talk about a fat fish. Look at that thing. Man, I'll tell you what, in this muddy water, they look tiny. All you can see is just a little sliver of their back. And when you tie into one, man, look out. That did not taste good. Man, I'm telling you, if you don't have a boat, go out with all the fancy lights and everything, or can't afford a charter or whatever, you can still do this. All you gotta do is find these old sloughs and small rivers. You can walk the banks and get out here, bring your kids and wife, have a good time. It's not as easy as you think it is, but man, I'll tell you what, it's sure fun shooting at something that small and then finally getting one. But I've got way more misses than I do hits, but that's part of it, so I think we need to try for a big one now. Well, I walked over this spot. I was trying to sneak up on some big fish I seen, and you just never know what you're gonna find right here at the water's edge. Check this out. Look at that. Big old mainframe 6. Got a whole bunch of junk around the bases. Can't tell if he died in velvet or not. If he did, he was probably an EHD deer. But man, that's a shame. That was a neat looking buck. Well, here we are. It's summertime. June's almost over. Everybody's got fall in their mind. I know I do. I've been trying to think of bucks that I've had encounters with that I'm going to be chasing this fall. Got a little history with some of them. I know some of you probably do too. So anyway, I'm going to kind of go through a quick rundown of some of the bucks that I'm looking for this fall. And I'm going to start with a buck I call Big Hoss. Actually have both of his sheds. This is a really nice buck. He'd be 164 inches if he had a 17-inch spread. But nice tall tine. He's real slick. He don't have a lot of mass, but hopefully that'll change this fall. But he's very symmetrical. I found the first shed, and me and my son looked for over a month, and 1 mile past where I found mine, he actually found the other one, so we was able to put them together to see what he looked like. This is a buck I did not know was there. I did not hunt the area, but you can rest assured one of us will. He's high on my list. This buck here everybody's seen. He was in season 4 episode 1. That's the buck I called Hollywood. I actually had 2 encounters with him. The first time he was at 15 yards, but he came in, it was too dark. I couldn't even get him in the viewfinder. Second time I had a stealth cam out. I was trying to get a double shot on video. I had the stealth cam on video mode. It almost happened. I had him at 32 yards and I couldn't get my shot, but he came in on the stealth cam and he was chasing does and grunting, so it was pretty cool. Not the biggest buck in the world, but I've got a lot of history with him. He ought to look pretty good this year. I never did find the other half, but you can be rest assured that he is on my list. This guy here, I really don't have a name for him. This is a fresh shed find. This is his last year's rack. He's got some kickers on him, really good looking buck. He's got a long beam on him, which is kind of untypical for my area. Usually I get short beams, but a lot of mass. But anyway, he's a beautiful buck, and he's definitely going to be on my list. I also have another buck that I got 2 velvet pictures of on stealth cam last summer. I call him Curly. His G2s and G3s hook real hard to the inside, but I never did really hunt him. I was in some other areas that was really good. The area he was in usually don't hold the bucks after the summer, so hopefully that'll be one I can find and maybe get on. But he was running with a bigger buck, and I actually found that buck when I was shed hunting. I found him dead, unfortunately, and he was a 157-inch buck, so kind of cancel that one out. And today I pulled the card, and I found this really wide 6-pointer on there. He's kind of cool looking, maybe not a shooter, but I call him Super 6, but I'm gonna keep my eye on him, and hopefully maybe next year he'll be a really big 6. I've always kind of wanted to go after a really big 6, but never had the chance. So anyway, that's pretty much my hit list for now, and I want to wish everybody out there good luck and encourage you to get on bowhunting.com, post your pictures on the forum and stories. We love the stories. We want to see your pictures. We want to know how you're doing, and just get on there and kind of keep us informed too. So anyway, good luck to everybody, and have fun this fall and be safe.
You know, one of the important things I think that Dan mentioned during that segment is that bow fishing is one of those things that's fun to do, and it's not super expensive. If you got an old bow laying around, a recurve or a longbow or something like that, they work great. All you got to do is go out, buy yourself a reel, an arrow, and a couple points, and you can start shooting fish.
Keep it simple.
You know, literally in a matter of minutes. And you don't need a fancy boat with lights and generators and all that stuff. Although that is great and it's a blast, I tell you what, just walking up and down the shores of these ponds and creeks and shooting carp is a ton of fun.
Right. And generally, you know, there's no shortage of ponds or creeks. You can usually get somebody to let you on their property to do and shoot some carp and stuff like that. So, you know, one thing for sure, the next thing we're going to talk about is one of the favorite things that we get the most excited about each year, of course, is our hit list. You know, Dan has got some incredible sheds of bucks that he had encounters with last year. He's got 2 of the most critical pieces of the puzzle, I guess. He's got photographs from last year. He's got the shed antlers from last year, which is always a sweet piece to have. And now what he needs to do, and I know he's already begun to do this, is start getting his trail cameras positioned to be able to find out where those bucks are living, to be able to put him in a good position this fall to harvest one of those bucks. And what more fun can you ask for is when you actually have history on deer.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's got some great deer down there in Indiana that he's hunting. We're hoping he's going to be able to connect with one of them this fall. I know he's got, you know, some of his stealth cams out, and let's face it, it's early July, it's going into mid-July right now, so the bucks are finally starting to really put on some inches, so now is the time to, you know, get those cameras out. So next up, we're actually going to check in with Jeff Kaye and Craig Roffers. They're up in Wisconsin doing some food plot work, and then after that, we're going to visit with Neal McCullough up in Minnesota as he puts out a mineral site, so let's check it out.
All right, guys, now that turkey season's finally wrapping up, the work keeps on going. Now it's time to spray some food plots. Just want to talk about this Roundup and you're spraying your plot. The best way to do it, everybody always wants to know, is how many ounces per acre, how many gallons per acre. The best way to do it is to use the equipment that you're going to use, have the boom you're using, the pump you're using, and just do a test run with just water and run it. And we found that this plot takes us about 15 gallons. They say for the best results it's 2.5 ounces per gallon, so what, that's something like 40 ounces that we're going to put in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this into my water. And I'm going to do about 1/3 of this. That should be about perfect. So we're going to spray this thing off, make sure we cover everything good. It's important to use all of it, the whole mixture. Got the new Moose utility sprayer and this really cool 11-foot boom. So we're going to try it out for the first time and see how it works. Alright guys, now that we got that all taken care of, we're going to give it probably a week or so. Keep a good eye on the radar. Whenever there's some rain coming in the next couple days, we're going to get up here, till it under, and put our Heartland Wildlife Institute food plot in the ground. I'm not exactly sure what Craig and I are going to put in here just yet, but whatever it is, it's going to grow good. We know it. We're going to kill a deer on this plot this year. Bow hunt or die. Alright guys, it's about 2 weeks later. Craig and I are back up here. We just stopped at an implement store, rented a tractor and a tiller. As you can see, the Roundup really did a job on this plot. So we're going to actually broadcast soybeans today, and hopefully they grow up really good, and come fall you know, late August or so, we'll get our Heartland Wildlife Institute food plots in. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but got a lot of work to do. Let's go have some fun.
Alright guys, in the background, as you can see, Jeff's still tilling up the other half of the plot here. We're going to run this drag over the real fluffy stuff that he's producing here, knock it down a little bit, fill in all the holes, and then we're going to plant the seed over the top of that. Alright guys, now we're filling the Moose Utilities hopper full of soybeans. We're going to spread this half of the plot since we've just prepped it here. And then as soon as Jeff's done over there, we're going to seed the other half.
Alright guys, we're just about done. We got all the beans broadcasted. And we're going to try something new. I've always heard about if you didn't have more than 1 acre or 2 acres of soybeans, and you have too many deer, that they'll just mow them down. So I did a little bit of research. I talked to a few companies. They said that actually to use Milorganite, it's actually human waste pellets made in Milwaukee at the sewer plant. And what it's going to do is it's going to help us fertilize our ground, and it's going to repel the deer for up to 2 weeks or so. We're going to do about 240 pounds for this acre. So we're going to see if it works. Sure it's stinky. Wow. It's bad. Alright guys, we're all done. Here finally it turned out really, really nice. We got the beans broadcasted, the Milorganite down, and we drug the drag harrow over everything. It turned out real good. We're going to come up in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 after it rains good. Check on the progress of the beans and maybe spray it again with Roundup, any of the grasses that are coming up. But we'll give you an update in about 2 weeks, but we're really excited. We're going to kill a big buck off this plot, hopefully 2 of them. Bow hunt or die.
All right, here we go. I am in southeast Minnesota. This is June 30th. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I am on a trail camera and deer stand setup mission this morning. Probably set up a mineral site as well. It's gonna be a good morning, beautiful day. Time to get after them. Safety first. Okay, I just got to my first location. I'm going to set up a mineral site here. I'm using Heartland Wildlife Institute's Lick Magic, and what I'm going to try and do is find a spot with good water, and I found a creek and a little natural spring here that looks really good. Don't want to set it right in it because when they get a lot of rain it will wash everything down. So I think I'm going to kind of set it up on this rise here to the left. I like to put mineral stations and trail cameras in places that are really easy to get to. Just pretty much simply drive up, check the camera, and get out. Not places necessarily that I'd hunt, but places where I can get in and get out without leaving much scent or really anything. So the deer are used to this ranger driving around these trails. That's where the landowner drives. So this looks pretty good in here. I really think this is going to be a good spot. Bow hunt or die. All right, I'm up on the top. This is where I'm going to set up my mineral station. One thing to think about when you're setting up your mineral station is to pick a spot that's good to hang trail cameras. And what I mean by that is easy access in and out, as well as a good tree to hang from. This tree behind me I think I'm going to use right over here, and so I'm going to set my mineral station at about 10 to 15 feet away from that tree, so I have a perfect tree to hang my trail camera from. Bow hunt or die. All right. Well, we had a little glitch. All the rain they got down here has really washed out a lot of the road, and the grass has grown up quite tall. So I am walking in my last trail camera and setting up my last site. So do that, and we'll be done for the day. Bow hunt or die. You gotta love it. All right, I got down to where I want to put my last one. It'll be right in this little bottom. It's actually a decent little spot. It kind of drops off quick, but there's a logging road right up here that once all the trees get fixed, I can pop in here real quick and get access. So this will be the spot of trail cam number 2 with hopefully find a spot to put a mineral lick. Okay, cameras are all set up. The last thing I'm going to do is try out this product from Tinks called Sweet Weed. It's a food attractant. It's got honeysuckle in there. I'm just going to spray it kind of in and around where my mineral site is, just to sort of get the deer interested in the area. You can use this also on a particular spot in your food plots if you want the deer to concentrate on that area. Just something new that they have that we're trying out this year. So, bow hunt or die. Had a great day today. Spent the morning driving around the property looking at stuff. The corn's starting to pop. And yeah, a couple of pretty good trail camera sites, I think. I got 2 mineral stations set up and 2 other cameras. So 4 cameras out for about 180 acres. Should be pretty good. Hopefully I can get a good inventory of the deer that'll be chasing this year in Minnesota. Bow hunt or die.
What we hope you gain from watching this show is, all different types of perspectives on things that you can be doing during the summer to increase your odds in the fall. The biggest thing, and one of the questions we get asked all the time is, you know what? I didn't get a buck last year. I didn't have good success last year. Are there things that I can be doing to better my chances this fall? In this case, you just watched 2 guys who are very passionate about hunting, who absolutely want to increase their odds this fall. You got Jeff and Craig putting in a killer little secret bean plot to hopefully get those late season bucks when they're looking for that extra protein. And then of course you got Neal, who's going to set up a mineral site with the Heartland Wildlife products. And what he's doing, he's going to make sure that those cameras are snapping pictures so he can get a good inventory of the deer that's in his area. Those are things that you can be doing. For me, I've been doing food plotting as well. I've also gone in different areas where have not had the best success because the deer just don't funnel the way I want them to go. A little bit of chainsaw work. I've dropped some trees down, and I purposely dropped these trees down in such a way that the main trail flows right through there to hopefully encourage those deer to come right by me. Those are some of the things that I'm doing. But not everyone does that. What's your position on this?
Todd, you and I were just talking about this. I kind of take a different approach to my hunting. Obviously, I don't know that it worked for me last year, but it's really worked in the past. Is the properties that I hunt, I don't have the ability to really do food plots on them.
That's a good point.
I don't own the properties. Some of the landowners won't allow it. I don't have the equipment. So, what Craig and Jeff are doing, is awesome, and I'd love to be able to do it, but I can't. So I don't really do the food plots. The properties that I hunt on, I don't own them. I usually lease them. The landowners don't want me cutting down a lot of trees and making funnels or doing any of that type of stuff. So I kind of take a different approach during the summertime, and it's more of a just stay out and let the place rest. In the past, I ran a ton of trail cameras during the summer, some of them pretty deep in the woods near some of my stand locations, which I think ultimately hurt me. This year, I pulled all my cameras out, put them on the edges of the woods within maybe 10 yards so I don't have to disturb anything in the woods during the summertime. I want to just leave the deer alone, leave the bedding areas alone, hunt the natural food sources, because let's face it, we live in Illinois. There's plenty of natural food sources, whether it be corn, beans, hay, winter wheat. We got all sorts of different food all over the place. So I'm just hunting what's naturally there. So I'm going to wait until the fall. I'm going to go in, scout, find the sign, hang the stands, and hopefully kill some deer. So, if you don't have the opportunity to do that stuff, don't think you can't be successful because you're not planning a food plot or you're not putting out a mineral site. You still can be successful, although if you have the opportunity to do those things, clearly they can certainly help you during the fall. So with that being said, next up we want to take a couple seconds to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week's episode.
Brad Hartwig,
Ryan Studeker,
Isaac Berger,
and Kobe Ray. Well, guys, that's all the action we have for this episode of Bow Hunt or Die. As I mentioned earlier, it's finally July, which means the bucks are really starting to pack on the inches as far as their antlers are concerned. So the good trail camera pictures are finally just now starting to roll in. Our team is out, checking their cameras pretty hard right now. So in 2 weeks from now, we'll have our next episode, which we're going to really focus pretty hard on trail camera pictures and our hitless bucks coming up for this fall. So I know that's getting me excited. We got less than 3 months till Illinois season season opens. About 2 months until Wisconsin opens, so it'll be here before you know it.
One more thing before we go. If you'd like to get a free Matthews DVD, stop in any authorized Matthews retailer dealer, ask them to shoot a creed, and you will get a free DVD. It's a pretty neat program they've got together right now.
Yeah, I mean, the DVD that you're going to get has got 18 awesome bow hunts on it, all featuring the new creed. One of those hunts is actually Todd's late season buck that he shot last year over one of his food plots here in Illinois. So how can you beat it? A free DVD, 18 hunts, stop into your local Matthews retailer, shoot the new creed, and you never know, you may walk out with one. It is a sweet shooting bow. So that's all we got for this episode. We'll see you guys right here on Bow Hunt or Die in 2 weeks.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Action.
I don't know what I'm going to say. You know, Todd, the thing that Dan mentions in his
Because you said you know Todd.
Now remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunter Doc, bowhunter.com.
Hey, really quick too before we go. You want me to read that, Brandon?
Well, yeah, no, yes, yeah, we do.